الدين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبعد. Inshallah, today we are going to cover the 20th juz, and the 20th juz is comprised of part of Surah Nahl, which we covered yesterday, and it's covered, majority of it covers Surah Qasas and part of Surah Al-Ankabut, right? And we'll cover the Ankabut as well, inshallah ta'ala. Surah Qasas is a Meccan surah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discussed the story of Musa alayhi salam in detail, from the time that he was born till the time that he went to Fir'aun, and even after how Fir'aun responded and how Fir'aun and his people were drowned, then how some of the people of Bani Israel responded. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the story of QU'RAN towards the end, and it's just, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His infinite wisdom, He doesn't just give us ahkam, right? He doesn't just give us rules, laws, regulations, but sometimes He gives us stories to be able to understand the same concepts that He's trying to get across, but in ways that in different ways. Same concepts in different ways. So here, think about the tawakkul. Think about how the dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the reliance, right? How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps His slaves. And inshallah, we'll go through the surah. And I apologize, I ended class a little bit early because I want to go through this surah in detail. This is alhamdulillah, every surah is my favorite surah, but this is a surah that I feel like we can derive a lot of benefits from. So this month, alhamdulillah, we spent 19 days after Fajr at Olsen going through this surah and taking out ayat and deriving benefits from it. Okay, inshallah. So let's have one of the brothers. Raza?
A Meccan surah which centers on the story of Moses and takes its title from the reference to the story told by Moses in verse 25. Its main theme is the bad end that comes to those who are arrogant and spread corruption, like Pharaoh and QU'RAN. Polytheism is denounced at various points throughout the surah, and a link is made between these and the disbelievers of Mecca. The Prophet ﷺ is reminded that he cannot make everyone believe, and should remain steadfast. In the name of God, the Lord of mercy, the giver of mercy. Meme. These are the verses of the scripture that makes things clear. We recount to you, Prophet ﷺ, part of the story of Moses and Pharaoh, setting out the truth for people who believe. Pharaoh made himself high and mighty in the land and divided the people into different groups. One group he oppressed, slaughtering their sons and sparing their women. He was one of those who spread corruption. But we wish to favor those who were oppressed in the land, to make them leaders, the ones who survive, to establish them in the land, and through them show Pharaoh, Haman, and their armies the very thing they feared. We inspired Moses' mother, saying, "Suckle him, and then, when you fear for his safety, put him in the river. Do not be afraid, and do not grieve, for we shall return him to you and make him a messenger." Pharaoh's household picked him up later to become an enemy and a source of grief for them. Pharaoh, Haman, and their armies were wrongdoers, and Pharaoh's wife said, "Here is a joy to behold for you, for me, and for you. Do not kill him. He may be of use to us, or we may adopt him as a son." They did not realize what they were doing. The next day, Moses' mother felt a void in her heart. If we had not strengthened it to make her one of those who believed, she would have revealed everything about him. And she said to his sister, "Follow him." So she watched him from a distance, without them knowing. We had ordained that he would refuse to feed them from wet nurses. His sister approached them and said, "Shall I tell you about a household which could bring him up for you and take good care of him?" We restored him to his mother in this way so that she might be comforted, not grieved, and know that God's promise is true, though most people do not understand.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this set of ayat, at the beginning of Surah Al-Qasas, he says, تِلْكَ آيَاتُ الْكِتَابِ الْمُبِينِ. These are very clear ayat, right? If you read the ayat, it's very clear. Then he said, نَتْلُو عَلَيْكَ مِن نَبَإِ مُوسَى وَفِرْعَوْنَ بِالْحَقِّ لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ. Right? We're going to tell you the true story of what happened between Musa and Fir'aun, and this is a story for the believers. So you can derive benefits from this. Then he talks about Fir'aun, how Fir'aun was arrogant on earth, and he was oppressive, and he would use the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon him to cause corruption. So he made Bani Israel into two groups. What were the two groups that he made Bani Israel into? He split them into? No, okay, the oppressor and the one who corruption, that's all characteristics of Fir'aun. So it says, جَعَلَ أَهْلَهَا شِيَعًا. Right? He made them, يَسْتَضْعِفُ طَائِفَةً مِّنْهُمْ يُذَبِّحُ أَبْنَاءَهُم وَيَسْتَحْيِي نِسَاءَهُم. Right? He made them into two groups. He separated them into male and female. Okay? He separated them into male and female. And what would he do to the males? He would slaughter them. And he'd let the females live. Okay? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and that's what because he did that, إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. He was someone who was an oppressor, or is that someone who could cause corruption. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though Fir'aun was doing this, and Fir'aun wanted to do this, and he was starting this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wished to favor those that were oppressed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to give them izzah in the land, respect in the land. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to give them power. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, Fir'aun was planning. Fir'aun was doing this. Why was Fir'aun doing this? Why was he killing the males and leaving the females?
He didn't want any other king or dominant person more than him, powerful.
Okay, so this was a plan for him to safeguard or preserve his kingdom. So Fir'aun, Haman, and their armies had this plan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always the best of planners. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he told the mother of Musa, okay? And this is an evidence that the majority of scholars that say that because someone has an idea, right? Awhayna, we inspire, doesn't make them a prophet, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspires everything for that which is beneficial. وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ أَنِ اتَّخِذِي مِنَ الْجِبَلِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we inspired the bee to take refuge and to go and to have, go to the trees and things like that, pollinate, fertilize, and things like that, okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired the mother of Musa alayhi salam that nurse him, but if you become afraid and you think that they're going to come and try to kill him, what you do is you put him into the river. وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي. But don't be afraid for him, and do not worry about him, and do not be afraid for yourself. إِنَّا رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. We're going to return him to you, and we're going to make him among the messengers. Okay, think about this. Would any of us do this? No. Right? Even till today, I remember when I was in Egypt, when my first daughter was born, right? Someone gave us a gift, and then they're like, "Hada tabut Musa," or they call it the Moses cradle, right? It's to put it in there, and then you put it into the Nile River. So Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is saying that she did this, and then who took them? Right? When he was in the river, where did he end up? At Pharaoh's house. فَالْتَقَطُوا آلُ فِرْعَوْنَ لِيَكُونَ لَهُمْ عَدُوًّا وَحَزَنًا. The family of Fir'aun took him. But why did they take him? In the end, what was he going to be to them? He was going to be a source of grief for them and an enemy to them. But this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans. And he says that Fir'aun, Haman, and their soldiers were always in the wrong. Who's Haman?
The sisters.
Yeah, he's like the chief minister. He's like the chief minister. We'll see later in the surah where Musa alayhi salam goes to them with very clear signs. So Fir'aun says, Haman, build me something. Build me something so I can go up and see this God of Musa that he's talking about. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that this is what happened. So the wife of Fir'aun, who was righteous, the wife of Fir'aun was righteous, she said, don't kill him. She pleaded with him, don't kill him. Maybe we can adopt him as a son, or maybe we can, maybe he'll be a source of benefit for us. Right? So this right here shows us that because a husband is corrupt, immoral, doesn't mean the wife is the same way. And vice versa. right? So we're not going to be judged based on who we're married to. We're going to be judged as individuals, right? We know the story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives us the example at the end of Surah Tahrim about the wives of Nuh alayhi salam and the wife of Nuh alayhi salam, wife of Lut alayhi salam. And He said, فَخَانَتَهُمَا. Right? He said they were treacherous and they will enter the fire. But then He gives an example of the wife of Fir'aun, that she was righteous and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted her Jannah. Right? So we have to understand that we take everybody as an individual. We can only control what we have. We encourage. We encourage. We tell people to do good and we try to encourage them. But if they don't listen and they make their own choices, everybody's going to be responsible for themselves. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that وَأَصْبَحَ فُؤَادُ أُمِّ مُوسَى فَارِغًا. The heart of the mother of Musa alayhi salam became empty. What does it mean? Heart became empty. Yeah, you guys ever, sometimes when we're dealing with a situation, we become impatient, we don't know what to do, we feel like our heart's gonna leave our bodies, we just want some kind of resolution. Like sometimes, all right, say something's going on, right? And you just want to call somebody, talk to somebody and be like, okay, this is what's going on, I just want to tell you that. And the person's like, look, I really can't do anything, but you just feel better just talking to somebody about that, right? So here, can she talk to anybody? No, she can't. Can she have any kind of comfort, any kind of solace from the people? No, she can't. So then, there's no, in the Arabic, there's no meaning of next morning here, right? It just becomes. So what happened then was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made her heart firm. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had not tied, literally means He tied her heart and He made it firm and she became among the believers. So what do we learn from that? We learn from that is that sometimes we will be placed in situations and circumstances where we're afraid, we're scared, we don't know what the end result is going to be. But if we put our faith and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we do that which is right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be our anchor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be our source of strength and support. Right? Some people, they have to make very serious decisions in terms of how they're living their lives. Right? In terms of wealth, in terms of finances, in terms of decisions. And sometimes that change for the better takes a leap of faith. Right? Shaitan comes and says, look, you've been living your life, how are you going to provide for your children? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? Right? But when we say that, you know what? I'm doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to do things in a positive way. And I'm going to put my faith and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm going to get out of everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support us. And that takes faith. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tie your heart down and give you the strength and support that you need to get through difficult situations. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that the mother told the sister of Musa alayhi salam, what did she tell him? What did she tell her daughter? What did the mother of Musa alayhi salam tell his sister?
I'm ready to nurse.
No. Okay, follow him, find out where he went. Go get information. وَقَالَتْ لِأُخْتِهِ قُصِّي فَبَصُرَتْ. Right? So she went and she saw what happened, where he is, and she got information. She came back and she told the mother. Not only did she tell the mother, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then in the next ayah He mentions وَحَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَرَاضِعَ مِنْ قَبْلِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made it haram for anybody else to suckle Musa alayhi salam, nurse Musa alayhi salam. So when the sister saw this, she said, فَقَالَتْ. The sister is the one that initiated it. You see the fitna, you see the wisdom of the sister. She said, Allah says, she said, what did she say? Should I guide you to a household that will take care of him? وَهُمْ لَهُ نَاصِحُونَ. She didn't say that they're good, they have your interest in mind. What did she say? She said, وَهُمْ لَهُ نَاصِحُونَ. They want what's best for him. Right? For who? For the baby, for Musa alayhi salam. And the mother always wants what's best for her child, right? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala return Musa alayhi salam to his mother? So his mother could take care of him. فَرَدْنَاهُ إِلَى أُمِّهِ كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا. So so that her eyes could find comfort. Right? كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن, so she wouldn't worry anymore. ولا تحزن كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن ولتعلم, and ولتعلم, so she would know بأن وعد الله حق, that the promises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are true. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But most people, they don't realize that. They don't know that. They don't believe in that. They don't act in a way that reflects that they have full conviction in the promises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And even that, even when like you do something, when did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that she would be certain that the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was true? Was it before she acted or after he returned? Right? She did it in the faith. But her faith was confirmed and elevated and strengthened even more after, right? So sometimes we have to take that leap. And we have to put our faith and trust in the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, think about it logically and think about in this way, right? If you look at giving sadaqah, if you look at praying tahajjud, sadaqah, when you give sadaqah, you see money from your account going away. But your faith tells you that your money will never depreciate or never decrease, but it will always increase. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that a person will not become tired from tahajjud and qiyam al-layl. So you may think from your perspective, from a normal human perspective, that look, what do you mean I'm not going to be tired? I'm losing 15 minutes, half an hour of sleep. How can I not be tired? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put barakah in the sleep that you have. Right? Think about praying Fajr. Fajr in the masjid, the Fajr in Jama'ah. When you pray Fajr, right, the day that you pray Fajr is a day that you feel fresher than as if you have slept through. Everybody understand it? And from a worldly perspective, a logical perspective, doesn't make sense. But that's where faith comes in. The trust in the words of the Prophet ﷺ and the kindness of the Prophet ﷺ. I'm going to say something which is very disgusting, but it's from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. To discourage anyone from ever missing Fajr again. Prophet ﷺ said that whoever misses Fajr out of intention, right, and doesn't make proper amends, doesn't take proper amends to wake up for it, shaitan urinates in that person's ear. Right? It's a hadith of Prophet ﷺ. But there's certain situations that people may miss it. If you set your alarm, say you set your alarm, you sleep early, sometimes people still miss it. In that case, Allah, pray it as soon as you wake up, but make a firm intention to try not to miss any salah, but especially Fajr salah. Okay, now Musa alayhi salam went back to his mother and he was raised, and other narrations say that not only was he raised by his mother, but the mother and the family were all told to come and live in the castle of Fir'aun, right? Because she was a caretaker and she didn't want to be away from her other children, so they were all raised in the house of Fir'aun. That's why, remember in Surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Fir'aun said, أَلَمْ نُرَبِّكَ فِينَا وَلِيدًا وَلَبِثْتَ فِينَا مِنْ عُمُرِكَ سِنِينَ. Weren't you raised in our house? Didn't you live a long time with us? So this is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, next, the sister. I know the sister is going to be, inshallah. Sorry, I thought he was going to be here, that's why I didn't ask for her. Aisha is not mentioned.
No, Asya. Sorry.
No, Asya, she's mentioned in Surah Tahrim as well. Last ayah, the second to last ayah of Surah Tahrim, Surah number 66. She's mentioned there as well. Before. وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلٍ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا امْرَأَتَ فِرْعَوْنَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us after mentioning, Allah gives two examples of women that disbelieved, and the wife of Lut alayhi salam, the wife of Nuh alayhi salam. Then after that, he says, وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا امْرَأَتَ فِرْعَوْنَ. And I give you an example of a woman that believed, the wife of Pharaoh. It's mentioned in Surah Tahrim. Okay, one of the sisters can read, inshallah.
When Musa reached full maturity and manhood, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. This is how we reward those who do good. He entered the city unnoticed by its people and found two men fighting, one from his own people, the other an enemy. The one from his own people cried out to him for help against the enemy. Musa ﷺ struck him with his fist and killed him. He said, "This must be Satan's work. Clearly he is a misleading enemy." He said, "Lord, I have wronged myself. Forgive me." So he forgave him. He is truly the most forgiving, the most merciful. He said, "My Lord, because of the blessings you have bestowed upon me, I shall never support those who do evil." Next morning, he was walking in the city, fearful and vigilant, when suddenly the man he had helped the day before cried out to him for help. Moses said, "You are clearly a troublemaker." As he was about to attack the man who was an enemy to both of them, the man said, Musa, are you going to kill me as you killed that person yesterday? You clearly want to be a tyrant in the land. You do not intend to put things right. Then a man came running from the farthest place of the city and said, "Musa, the authorities are talking about killing you, so leave. This is my sincere advice." So Musa ﷺ left the city, fearful and weary, and prayed, "My Lord, save me from people who do wrong."
Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned that as Musa alayhi salam, as he got a little older, he entered the city. And فَوَجَدَ فِيهَا رَجُلَيْنِ يَقْتَتِلَانِ هَذَا مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ وَهَذَا مِنْ عَدُوِّهِ. He saw two people that were fighting. One was from his group. Who's his group? Bani Israel. And who's from the enemy? Alright, the Egyptians at that time. Okay? فَاسْتَغَاثَهُ الَّذِي مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ عَلَى الَّذِي مِنْ عَدُوِّهِ. So the one that called him was from the Bani Israel. He called him and he said, "Help me out, this guy's oppressing me," and things like that. So Musa alayhi salam went, فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. Musa alayhi salam, he punched him. Right? He punched him and the person died. Musa alayhi salam had no intention of killing the person. He hit him and the person died, and this is the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that for this to happen. Then Musa alayhi salam said, "This is the work of shaitan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him. Then Musa alayhi salam, he realized that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed Musa alayhi salam with a lot of things. And he said, قَالَ رَبِّ بِمَا أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ. He said that because, my Lord, because of the blessings you have bestowed upon me, I shall never support those who do evil. The blessings, right, come with responsibilities. And he realized this. So now he was in the city, and that same person from the Egyptians, from Bani Israel, the same person from Bani Israel, the next day was fighting somebody else. So he called Musa alayhi salam again, "Come, help me out again." So Musa alayhi salam said, "Right, you're among the troublemakers." He realized, just because he's from Bani Israel doesn't mean that he's righteous, doesn't mean that he's moral, doesn't mean that he's a good person. So the person now, immediately the next day, he turned against Musa alayhi salam. And he said, "Are you trying to kill me like you killed that person yesterday?" So Musa alayhi salam, right? He said, "You clearly want to be a tyrant in the land." Then a man came running. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a man. And the person, he had Musa alayhi salam's best interest in mind, and he was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did the man come and tell Musa alayhi salam? Yeah. Huh? Yes, right? إِنَّ الْمَلَأَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكَ لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. They're meeting right now. Right? And the thing that they're talking about is they want to kill you. فَخْرُجْ. Go. Leave here. Right? إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. I have your best interest in mind. Right? I'm giving you nasiha. Leave. So Musa alayhi salam, what did he do? He left. Right? Because there's no concept of law, of justice, things like that. Right? In Islam, if this happened in an Islamic, if a place where Islam was the ruling thing, there's different types of killing, right? So here, it wouldn't be considered capital punishment. There's no capital punishment. You have to give a fine because it was a khata. It was a mistake. There was no intent behind the killing, right? So this is what happened in Islamic thing. So he left. Where did he go? Right? As he was leaving, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Oh Allah, save me from the people that do wrong. So now you see he goes to Madian. Right? And we'll see what happens here. Plus.
he made his way towards Midian, he was saying, "May my Lord guide me to the right way." When he arrived at Midian's water, he found a group of men watering their flocks, and beside them 2 women keeping their flocks back. So he said, "What is the matter with you 2?" They said, "We cannot water our flocks until the shepherds take their sheep away. Our father is a very old man." He watered their flocks for them, withdrew into the shade, and prayed, "My Lord, I am in dire need of whatever good thing you may send me." And then one of the 2 women approached him, walking shyly, and said, "My father is asking for you. He wants to reward you for watering our flocks for us." When Moses came to him and told him his story, the old man said, "Do not be afraid. You are safe now from people who do wrong." One of the women said, "Father, hire him. A strong, trustworthy man is the best to hire." The father said, "I would like to marry you to one of these daughters of mine, on condition that you serve me for 8 years. If you complete 10, it will be of your own free will. I do not intend to make things difficult for you. God willing, you will find I am a fair man." Moses said, Let that be the agreement between us. Whichever of the 2 terms I fulfill, let there be no injustice to me. God is a witness to what you say.
So Musa alayhi salam, he left. He left Egypt and he went to Madian. Right? Madian is, most scholars say it's a place in Jordan. Some of them say no, it's closer to Saudi Arabia, but it's not in Egypt, right? Wherever it is, it's outside of Egypt. It's outside the control of Fir'aun. Okay? That's why when Musa alayhi salam went to Fir'aun yesterday, what did he say? When we talked about it yesterday, he didn't go yesterday, but when we talked about the surah yesterday, what did he say? قال رب المشرق والمغرب وما بينهما إن كنتم تعقلون. My Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the Lord of the East and the West and whatever is in between it, if you understand. So now he goes to Madian. And Fir'aun doesn't have any control over there. So it's out of his jurisdiction. Okay? So it's somewhere else, it's a different place, right? Different laws, different rules, different culture, different background, different environment. So when he goes to Madian, before he goes on his way there, he makes a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a very important dua, right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide me to the right way. We should all memorize this dua because sometimes we live in a world of confusion. Sometimes things can become very murky and you're like, okay, hold on a second. What do I do? There's these people are telling me this, these people are telling me this. So you always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma hdina sawa as-sabil. Oh Allah, guide us to what is best. Guide us to the straightest path. This is Ayah 22. Yeah. So he went to Madian and he found, right, there's a well and he saw that people were watering and he saw 2 women pushed back. The dudan was literally, they were like kind of blocked out and pushed towards the back. So he said, قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. Okay, he said, what's going on with you? Why aren't you watering your flock and your sheep and things like that? So they said that because we got pushed back, وَأَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ, that our father is an old man. So Musa alayhi salam, فَسَقَى لَهُمَا. Right, he went and he watered their flock for them, and he took care of them. Then he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever you can help me, I'm in dire need of it, I need your help, Allah. Basically, I need your help, Allah. Here, you have many benefits that you can derive from this. Number 1 is that if you see somebody in need, you need to help them. You need to help them, right? Even if it's a woman, even if it's a man, if you can help somebody and you have the ability to do so, you should try to help them. Number 2 is even though you yourself may be going through a lot of hardship and difficult situations and circumstances, if you have the ability to help somebody, that may be a means of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helping you. Alright? What were some of the difficulties and challenges? There's in the back. What were some of the challenges that Musa alayhi salam was going through at this time when he decided to help these 2 ladies? Yeah, he was in a strange land. What else? The kids in the back. I know you know. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, yeah, the authorities are trying to kill him. He left the land, and he doesn't know what to do, right? He doesn't know where, he's in a strange place, no money, no house, nothing to do. What's he going to do now, right? In spite of all of that, he wasn't just sitting in a corner and saying that, oh, what can I do, right? He saw other people that were in need, that needed help and assistance, and he went out and helped them. Okay, then what happened? After he helped them, he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What happened after that? Okay, so the girl's father told one of them to go and get it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He describes the way that the woman was walking. Tamshi al istihya, meaning she was walking in a, here it says shyly, istihya is more modestly. Right? She was walking in a modest way. And she said, what did she tell him? قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك أجر ما سقيت لنا. Our father is calling you for what? Okay, to reward you for helping us out, right? So he went and talked to the father. He told him the story, and he said, نجوت من القوم الظالمين. Don't worry, you're saved from the oppressive people. They're not going to be able to harm you here. So what did the daughter? What did one of the daughters tell her father? Hire him. Right? Hire him. Why should we hire him? Okay, because the best people that can be hired are إِنَّ خَيْرَ مَنِ اسْتَأْجَرْتَ الْقَوِيُّ الْأَمِينُ. Right? Qawi, it means strong. How did she know that he was strong? Because he fought with them, not fought with the people, but he got in there and he went and he got the water for them. How did she know that he was Amin, meaning competent, trustworthy? Alright, he didn't take the water for himself, very good. And if you look at the Mufassirin, they say that when she was walking, and they were walking back to the house, he was walking in front. And he said, you just tell me where to go, right, left, straight, right? So he wasn't walking behind her, looking at her, or anything like that. So she said, you know what, I think we can trust this person. Okay, here, you see the openness and communication between members of the family. Right? And the good assumption. The good assumption isn't like the father doesn't say, okay, first of all, you know, I'm the dad, you're the daughter, don't tell me what to do. No, nothing like that. Okay? Secondly, it's like, okay, why do you want me to hire this man? What's in it for you? No, it's not bad assumption like that. But what did he do? He said, yes, that's fine. It's a good idea. Then he said, okay, I want you to marry one of my two daughters. But there's a condition. What's the condition?
To serve for 8 years.
Okay, to serve for 8 years, and if you complete 10, that's on your own free will, but you'll find me among the righteous. وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشْتَقَّ عَلَيْكَ سَتَجِدُنِي إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. I don't want to make things difficult for you. I don't want to make things difficult for you. He could have been like, 8 years, ready making this.